Okay. So yesterday we discussed about what is Python programming, and then we discussed about what is required to understand we started working on the what is Python programming. We discussed why Python is popular. We have some different reasons for that. And now then we discuss how we can install Python on your machine. Then we saw a popular Google Colab application, right? So then we discuss about the how Python syntax are there, how we can write our programs. We created lot of variables. We created what different data types are supported by it. And then we perform some mathematical operation, arithmetic additions, and then it's tried to assignment also. We can do comparison. Today we're going to perform the comparison directly. Now we left yesterday with the if, for, and the while. Today let's discuss that. Okay. Hmm, let me adjust this window. Okay. So this is the how if else. Now today we are going to discussion about the control structure. I will give a good example of that. Whenever I'm saying a control structure which uses a if and else loop, or how we work with. Suppose you are starting with the traveling from your college to home or office to some other place. So what we do, we take lot of decisions. Am I not audible? IT team, am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Okay, it's me who is audible. Okay. It's me who is Okay, so control structure. What is the control structure? Control structure help us to manage the code in a way that we can control a certain flow of it. For example, if I'm traveling from one location to another location, for example, from college to the office or to the home or some garden, right? So these are different locations we are going, and if you want to check the control of it, but we will be going on, for example, we want to go to only one location, so we take a decision where should we go from house for our home, right? So we take a decision, that decision control, or we call as a control structure, we call as the control structure, and that help us to control over our program. So Python supports if else statement and the different loops to us for working with that. For example, today we're going to discuss the if statement and how if statement can help us to control the program it, right? For example, we have certain thing here and now we check with the condition. For example, sometimes we are not allowed to do with age. For example, we want to vote, cast the vote in election, but as we are not 18, we are not allowed to cast the vote. As we are not 18, we may not be allowed to uh, take our driving license. At a 16, we get driving license, but that is non-gear license we get it. So as such many situations are there, we require to have certain type of conditions, and that condition is checked with the help of if statement. And in the if statement block, we can see this through this flow chart. In a condition, we check if statement, that condition. If condition is true, something will happen. If condition is false, something will happen, right? So this is just a if statement. If it is a if else, then it is a, we check the second condition, we perform certain actions if something is fail. So what happens when we check the condition? So condition are checked. There are various conditions. Like example, I have given the checking the age is 18. Then we can cast the vote. We can take driving license for that. Similarly, right? Let's check it out. So I will create one variable 10. Okay. And I'm assigning its value to variable 10. And then I'm checking if variable equals to 10, I'm checking this condition, right? The print value is 10. So let's execute. It will connect initially. On the right hand side, you can see it is initializing Python 3 Google Computer Engine backend. So we have to wait for it. As soon as it is green tick, you can see output is coming 10. Now I just modified. I modified as to 18. Variable is value 18 and I am checking 10. It will not give any output because we are just checking if condition, right? We are checking if condition. If at all we want to print something, what we can do is we can write if after. Okay, I will discuss if else later on. We just need to write else and it will work. And then we can write print in double quote not 10, not 10. Right? We can easily do that, not 10. As soon as I write say 10, I can check the condition. So I'm getting value is 10. So this is how we work with the if. Okay, I have just modified the existing code and I showed you how it can work. Now next is I have another code, right? Spacing issues. Okay. So we have this A. This is a program which will help us to identify which one is larger one. Okay, I will open my will logic, how to develop the logic, right? So if I have a, let me open paint, right? If I have a three numbers, 2, 3, 4. So if I've identified which number is a larger number, so we can easily set 4 is larger. But that's how humans can do combinationally and fast processing. What about the computer? We need to tell to the computer how to identify which is the largest number. So what we do is we in if it is at all we want to teach the child, what we do, we ask them to compare these two. So we compare. I am comparing 2 and 3. 2 is less than 3, right? If this is true, if this is true, we are going to compare the number with the 4. If instead this is instead of 2, if this is 4, okay, this is a 4, or we can have say 5, right? So 5 is compared with 3. If this is not true, yeah, this is not true. So I'm going to compare the first number, right? And then I compare them, whichever is the largest one is printed. On similar node, I have written the logic. I am comparing at a time. As we do, I am not using a else statement. So I have to compare it twice with the help of an operator. We have used here comparison operator. I am using it a logical operator and operator. So I am asking user to input A, B, and C. I am comparing if A is greater than B and A is greater than C. If A is greater than B and C, you can say an operation is there. The both the condition must be true. Okay. So I am going to compare that. And if the comparison is true, I can say A is largest. Then if I'm writing B is greater than A and B is also greater than C. So B is greater than A and C both. It means B is larger. If this is not the case, C is greater than A and C is greater than A and B, C is the largest one. So there are multiple ways to logic of that. I'm just clicking it run. It will ask me some value. Say I am writing 10. It is going to ask me for the B value. I'm writing 12. And for C, I'm writing 18. Right? So definitely the output is a C is the largest one. Okay. Now here that was with if we have done. But the logic which I explained you that works for the if else also. Because that makes our program very smaller one. If we want to use if statement, then only. So usually it is preferred to use if else statement, right? So now this is another program. This program takes the number as an input from the user. If number equals to this, I am doing a comparison operator. So I'm just comparing this. Given number as input is equals to 10. So I'm doing a comparison. So whatever the number has been given input by the user, I am comparing with 10. If these two numbers are equal, the number is equal to 10. If if I enter 50, then it will say 50. If I 100, other than this 10, 50 and 100, it will give me number is not equal to 10, 50, 100. So the comparison happens here 3 times, but any other number is entered, it will directly go to the else block. For example, I am allowing people to cast the vote at my boothing center who is 18 plus and their name is at my booth list. Then I am allowing it. So I'm checking not one condition, two conditions. There are situations we need to check more than one condition, right? And we compare that. So similarly here you can see that I am comparing single condition right now. So there is no, I'm using an and, but here I was comparing two conditions. So right. So I'm comparing only one. So enter the number. I will execute it. If I enter 50, I enter it. Number is equal to 50. It means it check in. So someone will ask questions, sir, is it going to compare with the 10? Yes. If it matches 10, then it will stop, that will come out of the loop or the structure. Then it will come, but then if it's not, then it will check with the next number. If it's not match, then check with the next number. If not match with all these three numbers, it will come to the else section. That is the else part of it. So print number is not equals to 10, 50, 100. Number is not equals to 10, 50, 100. Again, I am going to execute once again. So I am writing 108. So the number is not equal to 10, 50, 100. We can easily observe that this is what we can get check. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay. Okay. So let's me move to the next thing. I have another program. I will be okay. I have some spaces added here deliberately. We have one program, and this program is will ask a user to enter some marks. Okay. If marks is greater than 85, then and marks is less than 100 or equals to, it will give congrats, you have A grades. So this is something when you actually see the mark sheet internally, similar type of programs work. It's not the same program, but similar type of program works. Right? Can anyone tell me what will be the output? I will enter just one number and I'm expecting everyone should reply. Say I am entering 76. Let's see. Tell me what will be the grade. Yes, it is giving a B plus because it falls between marks greater than 60 and 85. Let me once again execute the code. I am writing 67. Tell me what will be the grade? Yes, correct. It's B plus, right? So when we compare, I'm again once again I'm going to repeat. This is the marks variable. I am taking input from the user. I am converting that to integer because by default anything given to Python programming is nothing but an text. So we are converting into integer known as explicit conversion or a typecasting, right? So, and we are comparing if marks greater than equals to 80 greater than 85, if is we are in that bracket, we write some condition. Here I have written two condition. marks greater than 85 and marks less than 100. Then I'm writing a colon, which tells me I am going to the next line and it is not completed first line. So in a print, I am writing the message which is related to this particular condition. So there are two conditions. When there is an and we use, it means both the conditions should satisfy. Both the conditions should satisfy. Then we can say this is something which is required. Okay, let's understand. Anyone having doubts so far? Okay, let me move to the loops. Before we move to the loops, loop is something which we can say which is repeating the things. Loop is nothing but an something which requires to be repeated. Repeated, it is going to repeat the things many a times, which is going to repeat the many a times. Okay. So when we say something is to be repeated, we require to use some loops. For example, I want to print certain alphabets many times. For example, I want to print hello, 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 hello 100 times. I am not going to write hello 100 times in a printf statement. I am going to print it, right? So what is the solution? So we have a solution. We have a solution is to loops. There are two types of loops we use in a Python programming. One is for loop, another is the while loop, right? So this is what we call as the for loop and while loop. So let me discuss about the particularly for loop. Okay. What is a for? For loop is a loop which help us to repeat the things which is provided many a times. So now I have created a variable str, and from that str, in that string I am storing a string called Radha, and from that in the so and then I am going to print each and every alphabet which is there in that particular string. So I'm writing a for loop for I in str. Now what it will do? I have a string called Radha, and from that Radha, I am actually taking one by one character. So initially I will taking R, then A, then D, then H, and then A. Okay. So because I want every character to be printed one by one, that's why. Okay. It's easy to print Radha in Python programming. We can easily do. I will just show you once again. I can simply write print and then I can write Radha, but I don't want to print it completely. I want to print it one by one character, which is available in the string, which is available in the string. So I am going to use a for loop for I in str colon. If you observe in a if else also, after colon, the print statement or anything after that comes to the new line after some spaces. This space is known as indentation, which we discussed last time. Okay. So now we use this for loop stuff where we actually use this to print it, right? Now this is printing going on. I will just try how it works. It is executing. See, I have printed R A D H A. It printed one by one character. It printed one by one character. Now I will write another here, Radha 2. So 2 will be going after A. You can see that it went to the new line. So one by one character is selected by for loop from the string str by using a variable I, and it's stored in a I, and from that I am printing that I here. Understand what is happening here? Str string, this variable, this object consists of Radha 2, and it takes one by one character into I, and I is printed. Suppose I want to check what is the data type of, I want to print, of course I have to print type of I. It will tell string, because though we have not told to it, but we are storing into it, that's why. Though I here is helping us for iterating it, at the same time it is helping us to store and print it. So I am printing it I here. It is telling me its type is str. Right? Now let's move ahead. Now I have a list. Of course, we are going to discuss the data structure today, but for this it is not required. Okay. So I will be waiting. I will be sure now, as we know that the nature of for to take one by one element. So with in I, we take the one by one element from this list. List, this is a list I have declared. A list is another type of variable I have created, and I'm storing some numbers to this list. I'm storing some numbers to list, and I'm creating another variable n as equals to 5. Okay. So now for I in list, I am actually storing it. And for I, one by one element from the list is taken and stored in I. Now I'm taking that I here in a new line and multiplying n, and is 5 here. 5 into first elements of the list, that is a 1. So 5 into 1, that multiplication is stored in C, and then I'm printing it in the C. Then again I'm coming back here to calling the second element, n is equals to 5 and I is equals to 2. So repeatedly it will take one by one number and it is going to print. So can anyone tell me what it will print? Yes, can I see the chat text boxes? Not okay. Table of 5, correct. Very much correct, Aman. Appreciated. Multiples of 5, yes, correct. Very much correct. Multiple of 5, correct. Yes, yes, perfect. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your responses, everyone. That's correct. Perfect. Yes, let's me execute for everyone. Thank you so much. So it is printing the value, right? It is printing the values. Okay. Then 5, 10, 12, 15. It is multiplied. 5, 10, 15, 20 till 50. Because 10 into 5. So it is going to print the table of 5. Right. Let me see how many of you are able to guess the next output, right? Okay. Now, there is a function called range. I will explain, then everyone can tell me the output for this. So, we have function called as a range, which starts from 0 and ends in the 10. That's a by default. We can have our own range also, which I'm demonstrating in the next. If you don't provide default, it takes starting range is 0. So, I will go from 0 to 10, and it is going to print time each I, and in the end I am printing the space, right? So any guesses what it will print? Yes, everyone. 0 to 9. Correct. It will print 0 to 9. Okay. Let me see. Yes, it prints 0 to 9. Perfect. So guys, you are learning. So I'm happy that everyone is able to do it. Okay, next program. Let's see. Again, here I am not providing a range. So I am asking user to give some input, and user will give some input as a number, right? So let's see. After I give a input as number, suppose I am writing very magical number 8. So it prints the table of 8. What if I give another number, suppose say 10? Can anyone tell me what will the output now? Yes, correct, Kantilalji. So any number table which the given, yes, table of 10 will be printed. Very much correct. Perfect. I can see many people are giving output to it. Yes, I will just enter the hit button and will print the 10. But with the formatting, you can see that here it is providing a formatting. And what I'm writing a n. The n what is taken input from the user, right? Now I am going to the next program. I have a list. In that list, I have stored the name of the river. Okay. In the river's name, I have stored the Yamuna, Narmada, Ganga, Godavari. Now for I in a range length, and I'm printing a list. I don't know what is the length of my list. I don't know the length of my list, right? So I have a one function in Python that calculates the length of the list, because for loop I should start and end, which is I'm not aware of it. So what I will be doing is I will be calculating the length with the help of len function. So length of list, and I'm providing a range because the list starts from 0. We'll discuss this later on. So it will print from 0 to length of the list. So length is 4. So it will go from 0 to 3, or you can say 1 to 4. So for I in the range is printed. So one by one lengths will be printed by the river. River name is Yamuna, river name is Narmada, river name is Ganga, river name is Godavari. We can see that if we are able to modify. Let me modify this code, and I can write in a single code another name, another river. You can say Nile, right? So So it's we have written a line, these two line, irrespective of number of elements in the list. Irrespective of the elements in the list, we are able to print it. If you provide 4, it will print 4. If you provide 5, it will print 5. If you provide 100, it will print 100. That's the beauty of it. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, thank you. So let me move. I have another nested loop. So there are situation we require to have a nested loop. You might have seen very interesting phenomena when we use the drive the bikes, or rather speedometer. Okay, where it shows the how much distance is covered. So usually it uses a nested loop, which uses the nested loop, right? So what is a loop? Nested loop is something, the loop within a loop we call as nested loop. Loop within a loop we call as the nested loop, right? So when a situation, for example, I will show you some image from the internet. Say I am just Google the counter on counter on speedometer. Okay. This is usually we see this is speedometer, right? But look at the in the middle, these numbers 0750293 shown, right? Look at this particular number. In this number, these are one type of counter. The rightmost goes at higher speed. The in as we go towards left, they have very slow speed of change of number. Okay, this is analogy I'm talking about of the loop. When we say speedometer, on the right hand side, it goes very slower. As we move from right to left, the speed of change of number is decrease. Similarly, in the loops also, I'm coming back to the code. Rows equals to integer input, enter the rows. It will ask user to enter some numbers. For I in the range 0 to rows plus 1, this program is about printing the some star and understanding how nested loop works. So let's check it out. I'm entering the range as 5 and I hit the enter button and I can get stars, right? So it changes. This I'm able to print the number of stars within the loop. I have given a 5. Now what is happening here? It goes from 0 to number of rows 5 plus 1, 6. It goes to 0 to 6. And then what is the value of I? Every time the value of I is changes. Initially it will be 0. Then it goes to 0. It is 1. It will go from 0 to 1. It will go from that. Right? Okay. If I change this and I add something like this. I can print a different pattern. So this I just arrange this space for a new line and I am able to get a different pattern here. So you might come across when we learn programming, uh, usually this pattern because this helps to develop the logic, how we can write a nested loop. So we can have different patterns we can print. So very easily we can do that, right? Any doubts so far? You can post the question in the chat box. Mhm. Okay. Any doubts so far? Let's come to the while loop. Okay, let's understand what is a while loop. While loop is very interesting. While loop is always helps to understand what is the condition which we want to provide. The loop will execute till the condition is true. Loop will execute until the condition is loop. Like other loops, here we can actually realize that what condition we want to provide. So for loop is like a for loop. We can actually replace that also with the for loop. But yes, at the same time, we can have our own way of doing it. Right? Let me show you some demonstration, then you will understand. I have a string that I is equals to 0 and string is equals to Trambak. Okay, so Trambak is the city name. I have stored in a string one. So now I'm writing a while length equals to while I is less than length of string one. So what is the string length? Can anyone tell me? So how can we calculate a string length? So there are how many characters? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So and I am this length output will be like a 7. So while I is less than 7, it will execute my while loop. Now how it will be reduced? How it will be reduced? For that purpose, for how I can increase the value of I am going to increase the value of with the help of I is equals to I is equals to I plus equals to 1. Or this can be written as I is equals to I plus 1. Till that I am going to continue it, right? Okay, let's execute the code. Can anyone tell me what will the possible output? Okay, I think there's some internet connection is executing. Wait for the till the loop will execute. The loop is executing. You can see this green F symbol is moving up and down. I think I don't know something went wrong. I just stopped it. I will re-execute. Okay, let's move to the next program. Okay, this program will definitely work. So, so here again, I am comparing some string and then I'm printing it. Can anyone tell me what is the output for this? Any guesses? Yes, let me check some questions. Yes, sir, will I get a notes for this classes? Yes, you will be get it from the my IT team will upload on the link. Yes, sir, space will be considered. Yes, sir, space will be considered length. Yes, space is considered on the length. Sir, space is considered length of the string. Yes, it is considered. I already answered that. Okay, for attendance, the link is already provided. Sir, what is T there? T is a character. I'm comparing it. Whether the T exists or not exists, I'm comparing that. So for that purpose, I have written the T. We can use any other alphabet also, no problem. Right? Okay. Suppose sometimes we require to run the program many a times or infinite. So what we do is we want to run that and we want to print something many a times. We can use a condition for while is true, and that can be done with the help of writing a one in the while, because one will always remain true and it will continue executing. Here it will stop the code, it will not execute because it is we are running in a certain environment. This environment is uh, controlled environment, but the same code I can show you on the my terminal. I'm writing in the Python. In the Python, I'm trying to print the while one, and I'm printing hello. It will print infinite hello. It will print infinite hello because I didn't stop it, right? So it is going to print continuous. It is printing it. I will write press the control C and it will stop. As soon as I press the control C, the code will stop. And if I want to re-execute, I can re-execute it. Okay. So as in Google Colab, this program, it will not allow you to do it because it is a control environment. But when you are running on terminal, you can do that. There are situations we require to have the certain things to be done. So what we do is we usually avoid to use on the Google Colab, right? So that was the topic which is left yesterday. Now let me discuss the a very interesting topic for discussion today. So another discussion today discussion point is functions. So what is function? Function. Before we move to the function, let me tell you what is a function. Function is again a small code. It's a program, right? And why we use a function? Sometimes we have a larger problems with us, and from the larger problems we want to smaller problems. For example, we have multiple operations to perform, or rather we have a larger task. For we have a 7 chapters to read for exams. What we can do, we can read chapter 1, 2, 3 separately or split it, and then we can say we can give. So in a day we are not performing it, we are doing by dividing the work. For example, you are learning in a class and you have 5 subjects to study. So it one teacher is not going to teach it, it is going to teach by 5 different teachers, so that teaching become easy, right? So we divide a larger problems into smaller problem. This is an analogy. So what is a function? Function is the block of code which only runs when it is called. So what is a function? Function is a block of code. It's a code itself. It's a programming. So it is code itself. So and it runs when you call. For example, I wanted to do some tasks. What I will do, I will call my friend. I will give a task, but I'm calling my friend and giving a task to my friend and get it done from him. Okay. So, and after the task is done, he will return to me. He will come back, and this is your task. This is a help. He This is a help he has given to me. So the task is done by taking others' help. Similarly, we are running some programs which programs require help of some other program. We call it as a functions maybe. Okay. So that is a function. So we are dividing a larger problem into smaller chunks of the code. We call as a function which does the task by calling it, and when task is done, it goes back. So it is returning the work what we want. So you can pass a data known as a parameters in the function, and function can return data as a result. Right, creating function. How will you create a function? In Python, function is defined using a def keyword. How we create is the with the help of def keyword. So now here look at this particular function which I have created. Def space, some space, my underscore function, round bracket. Whenever there is a function, we represent in a round bracket, then colon. Then we enter, and below to the next line we write whatever we want the function should do, or the task we assign. Here I want my this function to print the bol radhe radhe. So this function is going to print bol radhe radhe. Any question? Can function be indebited into another function? Yes, we can create a function within a function. So let's see how we can do this. I will write a program on terminal on itself. Okay, I'm writing def keyword. After that, I'm writing my underscore fun fun. I'm not writing a complete name. And then I'm writing print hello live session. Double quote, complete, enter, enter. Now this is the function which is created. But this function is not called. I have to write by writing my fun, then bracket, it will print, right? So this particular portion is called as a defining function. This particular line called as a calling function. So function is not executed until and unless we call the function, right? So this is how we call a function. This is how we define the function, right? Any doubt so far? Yeah, someone has posed the question. Okay, let me move to the next slide. So calling a function, we call function by its name and we hit the enter key. Now, what is advantage of function? The first advantage is using a function, we can avoid rewriting the same code again and again. So it means we can call one function one time, two time, three time, four time. Let's see. I'm coming back to this terminal. I am calling this function once again. I call it again. I can call it again. I can call it again. So once I have written the function, I can call it n number of times. It doesn't mean that once we have written the function, we can call it once. We call it every time. We can call it as many times we can. So we can call Python functions multiple times in a program and anywhere in a program. We not necessary, we can call it anywhere. We can track a large Python program easily when divided into multiple functions, which I told you at the beginning of it. That is the reason we are actually writing the functions, because we are dividing a larger Python program into smaller Python programs, or we call as a larger task into the small functions or small tasks, which makes things easy. Okay. Of course, there shouldn't be any dependency. If there is a dependency, we need to run one after the another. If small functions are there, we can run parallelly if there is no dependency, right? Reusability is the one of the thing which we can achieve in Python with the help of functions. So Python help us to do the reusability. What's the reusability? Using a same function again and again, which is the feature it's provided by Python by providing the facility of creating functions. However, function calling is always overhead in Python program. Of course, because function comes, it goes back. It is a highly overload on the operating system because it performs the context switching. It is very high at context switching, which is requiring overhead on the system. Okay. One of the question is from the audience is what is asked thrice? What is it? Just- Okay. Uh, Question is what is asked thrice? Can Python help in CS core student work? Yes, Python helps a lot for completing the core concepts of it. You can easily use those arguments. Now, when the function is there, we require to understand we can give some input to that function. If you look at this particular program which I have written, I have not given any input to this program. I have just called it, it does the printing of it, nothing else. But sometimes we require to give some inputs to these functions, and that is done with the help of arguments, or sometimes we call as the parameters. These two words are interchangingly used, but it has a line of separation of the meaning as a thin line separation. So arguments are specified after the function name inside the parenthesis. Now I have done this. I have defined the function, my function f name. This is called as the parameter. Okay. This is called as the parameter, and when I'm printing it, print f name, that's my variable name which I'm here, it is matching, and I'm printing, this is a string, I'm printing it here. So as soon as I perform this is the function, I can reuse it. I'm just providing a f name, the first name, right? So my underscore function, I'm calling this is I'm defining the function. I'm repeating again, this is I am defining the function, and this is I where I'm a calling a function. This is calling, and this is I am defining a function, right? Once again, I will repeat. I'm writing a keyword def when I want to declare a function. Then I'm writing some function name, which can be anything. Then I'm providing some variable name, which I call as the parameter, or the argument. So then I'm writing a colon, which when I click the enter button, some indentation after that I can type. I'm typing a print. I'm calling this variable here, and then I'm writing this. So this is how I actually work and print it. So this is going to print. Let me demonstrate the same thing. So I'm I'm defining my f1, and then writing in valid f name, right? And then writing colon, and then in that I'm writing a print, and then I'm writing f name, and then I'm I'm writing a plus, which concatenates this previous string. Then I can write, right? So this will create a function. After enter, I get a new line again. So I'm not using it. Again, I have to hit the enter. So I'm calling this function my f1. In that bracket, I am providing string, say Vaibhav. Then I'm clicking the enter key. I get Vaibhav Goswami. But you will be say, so there is no space coming. You can easily do that. I just modify this one. Let's see whether we don't get at the start of the space. So what we can do, we can redefine, and how I will, while defining, I'm providing a space here, and sorry. The function is defined. Now I get the space. So even if you provide here, it will not helpful, but you have to provide in the function itself. I can call this function F1 once again and provide another name. Suppose I'm providing Manan, and then I can just click the enter key and I get the name. Right? When I have provided some space here, the space was given at the beginning of it, you can check, but it will not add the space after this. If you want, you can use here also some space. It will, just a minute. I'm getting extra space here. Now moving to the next part of it. Oh, okay. Anyone having doubts so far? Examples of function. Example of function, usually it is required because every time we cannot write whole functions from the scratch. We create those functions in stored in some library, and those functions we can use anytime. Note, arguments are often shortened as args in Python documentation. When you read some documentation, it provides the args. Parameters or argument. I told you these are interchangingly used, parameters or arguments. The term parameters and arguments can be used the same thing, information that are passed into the function. The form functions perspective, parameter is a variable listed inside the parenthesis. So when you define, the argument is a list value that's sent to the function when it is called. So when we say we have, uh, coming to this, this is the parameter, this is the parameter, and this is the argument. So argument one we call it, and the parameter when we provide as the variable. Number of arguments. By default, function must be called with the correct number of arguments. If you have two parameters, then two arguments. If you have three parameters, three arguments. Four parameter, four argument. It means the number of parameters and number of arguments should match each other. You have to call the function with the two arguments if it is a two arguments, not more, not less. Okay. Example, look at this. I have provided first name and the last name here, and then I'm first name and then I'm providing a last name. When I'm printing it, the first name is printed in this location, second name, last name is printed here. In my function, I'm providing a 2. If I provide less, it will give an error. Okay. Any doubts so far? Let's move. I will take little faster. This time is ticking. So use the return statement to return. So my definition, my return 8 into V. So it is going to print. Can anyone tell me what is the output of the first line in the chat box? Yes. What is the output of the first line? Correct, correct. Yes. What is the output of second line? Yes, correct. Yes. What is the output of last line? Tell me the output of last line. Yes, 64. Very much correct. Yes. So the function is the same function is used 3 times, and this function, in the previous function we didn't return anything, we whatever is given we have printed, but in this function we have written the output. The definition my functions, and that is returning the value, and the value is coming here, and that value is printed outside by the print function. So that is a return. That is the use of return. So use a return statement to return something, the operation which is done by the function. Passing an object. Till now what we have seen is we are actually giving numbers to input. Now we can see the passing an object. So defining a function, we can provide a list also. For example, this we have a list. Okay, this is a function which accept the list one, and then in that list it is appending a 21. Then it is going to append a 31. This is the function, append function, and then I'm printing it. Then I'm now this is a defining a list, this is a defining a function, and now I'm calling the function change underscore list. This is the function name, list one. It will print by after appending it, right? Defining the function, the string. We can also pass on some string, right? So define a change string. String 1, string 2, ram, printing the string inside the function str. So inside the function ram will print it. Now string 1 is created, which is a pass on to that. That time it is going to print a new string of this. So there are types of arguments which are there in the functions. We can have the number more on that. So this is the function which can calculate the simple interest. This function calculates the simple interest. Defining, I'm explain. I am simp underscore inter is my function name. PTR. So P is the principal amount, T is the time, and R is the rate of interest. Return PTR, P into T into R divided by 100. This calculation will be done, and this calculation is returned where the function has been called. The function is called here. So after the processing, it will calculate this simple interest, and it will provide you the output of it. Okay. So let's move ahead. I will take it to the something else like variable. This is very interesting. It's a function where we can have multiple inputs. We are not aware how many parameter arguments are there. We are not even aware of it. So we can actually give more number of inputs without thinking of it. So how we do that? Define my function star kids. Star, it indicates that one or many. One or many. Print the youngest child of Basani family. That is in a kids square bracket 2. So my function Manan Laksh Aryan. Right? So my function Manan Laksh Aryan, based on the first one, this is a 0, 1, 2. It will print Aryan. So this is the star. Even if I am providing a 3, even if I am providing a 4, I am able to store in the function. The reason I'm able to store because I have given star. It indicates that the function can accept n number of parameters. Function can accept the n number of parameters, right? So this is the beauty of the Python programming. When even if we are not aware, this is where I runtime I'm calling this function. I am sometimes I'm giving a 3 input, sometimes I'm giving a 4 inputs. Even if I am not aware of it, we can use it. Now where the question will come, sir, where we can use this? We use usually in case of data science. We use it during the data science, right? So this, because in the data science problem we are not even aware of it, how many uh, parameters are coming, how many arguments are coming, how much data is with me. So we usually use this type of functions to ensure that number of parameters are not, even if not aware, it should store. So ensure that it will not crash. It will not give an error. Right? This is how we define the function. Of course, in my notes, a lot of things are there. We have a shortage of time. I'm just moving ahead to the very interesting topic of the today. That is the different data structures. Different data structure in Python, right? There are various data structures in Python. Let's understand what is data structure first. In a computer science, in a computer science, we have data structures, which is used for organizing, management, storage, an efficient way to access it. Because at the end, computing is help us to store the data, process the data. And when it comes to data structure, it helps to manage this. So basically, data structure is the very important concept in understanding the computer science when you are working and dealing with the data. And this helps us to maintain relationship between the various data which we are storing, which we can use it. And some of the data structure we are already introduced with the list the previous program. Let's see. Python has these four types of data structure: list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Let's understand one by one. Lists. Lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable, which we have seen an example, which help us to store multiple data. Lists are created using square brackets. Understand, it's very essential. Whenever you are using it, we use the square brackets to store the list. Example, in my list, I'm storing Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev. And as soon as I do it, I can actually print it. So because of the less time, I will only execute one of the example so that you can understand. So how I can create this? I write my list as a variable, then I write a square in a square bracket. So I am not telling this is my list. I'm writing a my list, then equals to sign, then a square bracket. In a square bracket, I'm writing Nakul, comma, Sahadev. Right, right. I'm printing it. When I print my list, I get the output of that. This list is printed, right? Now, I want to know what's the type of it. I write my list. As soon as I write, I get the type class type as a list. It means I have created the list successfully. Now, lists are ordered in nature. Means it is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. It means link starts with the 0. Then changeable. Lists are changeable. If you want to add or remove some of the elements in the list, which we can do. Allow duplicates. Since lists are indexed, lists can have items with the same value. So we can have duplicates also. See, in this example, I have Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, and Nakul. So I can have a of that. So we can different data types of list is possible. Tuple. The next topic of discussion is tuple. So what is tuple? Tuples are also used to store multiple items in a single variable. Tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. It means if you looked at the list which we can change, which is ordered here, it is also ordered, but it is unchangeable. Unchangeable, it means it is immutable, right? It means list is mutable and tuple is immutable, right? Tuples are written with a round bracket. Let's see, this is how we represent with the round bracket. My tuple I have used a round bracket, then Arjun Banwari Chaturbhuj. So I can just simply change in it. Simply I will perform this, and I will add one more name. I will add one more name. And if I print my tuple, it will print. You can see I have written four numbers in my tuple, and like Nakul, Sahadev, Arjun, and Naruto. Right? Tuples features. It's a ordered, unchangeable, and allow duplicate. It also allow duplicates because it also starts indexing from zero. So indexing start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and all. Right? Tuples allow duplicate values. I show which is possible. It we can calculate with the help of length function, which will give a length of the tuple. We can create tuple with the one item also, but in if you are creating one item, you have to write a comma here. That's why this slide is coming here. We have to write one comma. If you don't write comma, it will treat as a string. Okay. So sets. Sets are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Set is a collection which is both ordered, unordered, and unindexed. Sets are written with the curly braces, which we know that from mathematics we have done. This is my sets where I have created with the help of curly brace, and I have provided Shatrugna, Vichitravirya, Chitrangad, Devrat. This is I have created the set. Let me demonstrate you. Just it will changes only bracket changes there. So I'm writing a set one, then equal to sign. Then I'm writing a curly brace. In the curly brace, I am writing the some name Vaibhav. Then I'm writing another in double quote say Manan. Then I'm writing another Naruto. Then I'm writing another that is Itachi. Then I'm writing Sasuke. So, and then I should end with the curly brace. So set one which stores the multiple values and which we can print. Print set one and it prints. What if it does allows the multiple values? As sets does not allow you to do that. Let's do it one. I will try. I will modify my set one. Of course, I will rerun it. This time I'm just set. I'm getting a set two, and then I'm repeating my name only. I'm double quote and then complete and enter. As soon as I print set two, and I can see the first name is actually replaced with a new name, because set does not allow you to keep duplicates. That's not the case with the other data structure which allows you, right? So, right. So this is the sets. Sets are unordered, unchangeable. Duplicates are not allowed. If you remember in the school days also when we studied in the mathematics, we don't allow sets to store same values multiple times, only once. The concept from mathematics to computing is not changed, right? Similarly, this is how I have shown you the length. We can get the length of it. The item can be any of data. We can set some, we can store string, we can store a number, we can store the Boolean values like a true, false, right? A set with a strings, integer, and Boolean values. We can have a sets which consist of different types of values altogether. It is no problem in that we can store because we believe in a universal type of sets. If you try type, you can get as a, let's see what it says. Type set one, it will give you, sorry, it will your class set, right? And dictionaries. Dictionaries are used to store data values in key value pair. Very interesting when you're working with the data science type stuff. You require to have a dictionaries to be used as a key value pair, which we use many a times, right? So dictionaries are used to store data values in a key value pair. A dictionary is a collection which ordered. Again, it's a ordered, changeable, but does not allow duplicates of its key. Values can be duplicated, but key cannot be. Dictionaries are written with the curly brackets and have key and values. Let's see an example. This is a dictionary. This dictionary open equals to then curly brace. Then I'm writing a company, geo, plan, new plan 55, 100, 555, and validity for that. So this kind of structure are useful when we are working with the JSON files, when you are working on a web development, we are writing some packages. So for NoSQL type of data, is unstructured data, we usually go over the dictionary type of structuring of it. So it's a quite popular among the engineers for who are working in a web and who are working with the data science. A key value pair of the dictionary is used a lot. So I'm repeating again. I'm writing this dictionary equals to then some key, its value, key, value, key, value, and then closing it. Right? So let me show you how I can do that. I'm writing a dictionary, my dictionary, right? My dictionary one. So it should be written with the curly brace. So I'm first we are supposed to provide a key. If you looked at key, key is provided. For example, I'm writing the provider, and then if you looked at provider, then colon needs to be written here. We cannot write equal sign. So I'm providing provider colon. Okay, and then I'm providing writing the geo, right? Then comma. Then provide the another key, right? Plan. Again, it's a string. And if a string, then I'm supposed to write a double quote. Then colon, right? I can write the plan, say, I'm writing just any plan, QWERT. Okay. Then again, I'm doing comma. Then I can write, say, another key 3. Again, I should write in a double quote. Then colon. Then colon. In double quote, I can write something like ASDFG, right? I'm closing it. I get my dictionary in front of me, right? So if I want to print, I can write a print, or I can actually, I'm on terminal. I don't have to worry about that. I write my dictionary one and I can get printed on my screen. If you want to find out the length of the string, length of this, we can write like this. I get the length is 3 because it consists of key value. And then if you want to find the type of it, you can have a type of my dictionary one like this. So dictionary. So this is how we work with the dictionary. Any doubt so far? The why set has no index? Uh, Sets does not have an index because we in a sets we don't believe in that, because reason we are storing some elements all together, like what we did in the school days. Also mathematics says it does not require set because sets it can be unordered, and as soon as you print it, you all the time you get this different sequence of it. For example, if I print set 2 again, I may not necessarily give the same sequence all the time, but it gives you in a new compiler. But in the old compiler, it used to give me separately. So indexes are not there. But at the same time, indexes is for List, tuple, and the dictionary. Why can't get index sets right? I don't understand question. Is because they are unordered. Yes, it's because they are unordered. As something is ordered, their index will be coming. Something is unordered, index will not be coming. And sets has the concept from the beginning that it should be the collections. So we don't require indexing there. Any questions? What is the difference between list and tuple? So list is immutable. List is mutable and tuple is immutable because in the list we can append, but tuples are immutable. We cannot modify that. Yeah, yeah, someone has answered it. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Difference between sets and dictionary. Uh, Sets are unordered, whereas dictionary is ordered. It is an indexed one. And sets, we do not have a key value pair type of concept. But in when it comes to the dictionary, we have a key value type of concepts. Yes, any other questions? Okay. Sets cannot have duplicate value. So what is tomorrow's project? I will demonstrate tomorrow only. You can do a very good project tomorrow. So I'm keeping secret still. Set has unique value. Yeah, that's why we don't repeat the values in the sets. We usually keep unique values in the sets as mathematical concepts. Uh, about dictionary. Dictionary is a key value pair type of concept, and it's required whenever we want to access faster. As you go for advanced data structures and all, the dictionary is one of the popular data structure which is used by the programmers, because with the help of key we can access whole values about that. So that's the beauty of that key and value. We don't have to worry about hoping it by reaching one by one indexes and then identifying the values and then retrieve it. But key value help us to directly reach to that location and give those values to us, because the key values are associated. For example, when I'm saying India, then automatically the associated city is the Bharat as a capital. Same like Maharashtra, Mumbai, Gujarat, Gandhinagar. Like similarly, so we usually key associated that. What is the difference in dictionary and the question is a half? Is a half question, Anji? Sir, can I do DSA with Python? Yes, you can do the DSA the Python, but I don't recommend. It's better to do DSA with the C++. It will clear your more concept better and is appreciated by many people. Most of the people in the world are doing DSA with the C++. Python provides the inbuilt function. People will not recognize you in a way they're supposed to, but it will doing a lot of efforts. Which language is better for DSA? Like I mentioned, C++ is best language to go ahead with it, because you are writing your own functions to perform that. And again, I'm repeating, Python is slower compared to C++. And still now to today time we use a C++ in many professor. Sir, I am not able to do questions of Python. What should I do? Yes, you require to have a lot of practices, which can, with the help, with the practices, you can actually increase your capacity to perform the programming. You require to have basic fundamentals. You need to read what is the from the what is variable, which we call as a container, which we require to store something, till you start learning the Python. At least minimum 30 40 programs on if 40 programs on for loop we should do, 30 40 programs on a while loop we should do. A good number of programs, if you practice gradually, you are in position to do the lot of practices. What is okay, sorry, but ambassador program you will get in the link, you can read that. I suggest IT team to provide you tool. How do we need to okay, what is the best language after learning Python? So you can learn the Rust, you can learn the JavaScript if you want to go ahead with the MERN stack, main stack. डीएसए स्टार्ट करने से पहले हमने सी प्लस प्लस सीखनी पड़ेगी. Not necessarily for DSA, you can start solving the puzzle. Meanwhile, parallel, you can learn C++. It's not rocket science, just the syntax are changing. Any language you can work, but gradually, yes, you need to learn anyways, because there is no alternative to that. Sir, we can use HTML in Python. Uh, I have a answer for not, but when you work with the Django framework, you usually have the Python with it. But what you are want to create the joke out of this? Yes, so it's fine with that. For cyber security, which is best language? It's depend what uh, type of security related stuff you are working. It is recommended to go ahead. For example, if you are working on a web technology related stuff, you might be working with the some JavaScript also. You may work with the Python. You may work the C++, which is more preferred by it. But sometimes some tools does not require any type of programming also, because there are various tools available. For example, cybersecurity, you may use the Kali Linux or any other tools which does not require it, right? So, okay, anyone now not to last questions? It's better to learn AI with Python. Yes, it's I absolutely agree with that. But there are people who actually, if you know, TensorFlow on all these libraries are written in the backend in a C++ because it works faster. Sir, after Python, what should I will go? Yes, you should. I will go. You can go ahead with the start working on a Python if you are interested. If you are interested to develop in web development, you can go with the full stack development Django or the Flask one. In which language cybersecurity students learn DSA? They usually learn C++. They can do in Java also, and they can work with the different tools that does not require a programming. Yes, around 50 60 70% times people don't use the language. The 40 40 60% 40 50% around they use the language, and other 60% around they use some tools which are available on the cybersecurity forensics for that. Sir, what about the ops? You will reach tomorrow? No, I'm not gonna teach tomorrow. Oops, but we have some other concept we are gonna learning. Only Python, HTML, CSS helps in anything like development. Yes, for web development is good. So, what is important to learn AI/ML course? What is for AI/ML course? I suggest read the mathematics, statistics, which is essential to read. Mathematics statistics is required for AI/ML. So it's totally mathematical understanding is required for AI, ML, and data science. So yeah, you need to read that. And of course, a Python and R programming is the another thing required. You may use a Tableau, Power BI, different tools you can use it. Okay, I think it's time up. And okay, yes, I'm getting some questions. So just something helpful for web development. The Python is good if you're going with a Django framework. A JavaScript you can use for MERN and mean stack. If you want interest in Java, so you like the Java full stack you can read with HTML, CSS, JavaScript everywhere is required. So basically start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If anyone don't able to choose any domain, then which domain I will suitable for them? I suggest start continuing what you are learning right now. Gradually you will find your interest and you will be inclined to that and start working on that. Or else continue for a few days to work, to go through each and every domain of it, right? It happens. I was not sure then I was learning whether I was interested in web development. Initially, I was quite interested in web development. Gradually, after working 3 to 4 years in a web development, I turned towards data science and machine learning. And I sometimes I work through data. I'm solving some problems of the cybersecurity also when a forensics is to be done. So yes, my inclination from web development to AIML started afterwards. So it's not necessary. Everyone goes through that phase. So yeah, no problem. You start continue what you are doing. Which domain is a give good package to it? Yes, packages are depends on your skill sets. Same domain, two people entering the interview room, only one get higher package, another may not get it because you require to have a good skills. I'm talking about technical skills, I'm talking about communication skills. Which is based domain, every domain is based, but today's time everyone is talking about data science, machine learning, and cybersecurity. Two things are picking up at the same time. New area is going to pick up. I will tell you tomorrow the what is the next 10 years the after AI, ML, data science, and machine learning, which area is there. Tomorrow I will answer that question. So it starts with some related to it starts with alphabet Q. Okay, which one is best, Python or Java? I cannot say which one is best because both has its own place in the IT industry. Python is good for data science, machine learning, but Java again is good for writing some web application, desktop applications and all. Web development में scope है या नहीं? Yeah, web there's a lot of scope in web development, but yes, we need to change our. I'm interested in Python and SQL. Yes, I started with the SQL only and then web development. So in a continuation of SQL, I work with the so I continue with the web development with that. Yes, you can continue with the web development. Not an issue in that case. Okay, so for today, I stop here and thank you so much, everyone. And see you tomorrow with some new concept and get ready with your lot of questions. I'm ready to help you, everyone, to guide you guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.